one of college football is in the books, almost. Still have a couple games left here Sunday and Monday, but already a number of upsets. Let's go through some of the big ones, starting at Florida State. Boise State, the national powerhouse. Doesn't matter who they play. Boise State pulls off the upset, comes back from a 31-13 deficit. After the game was moved from Jacksonville to Tallahassee. Just an impressive win for the Broncos.
Well, you had to do it to me. You had to set me up like this here. But yes, I did.
Alumni.
I did see it coming, unfortunately. The writing's on the wall for Florida State, unfortunately. The game plan did not seem to change after halftime when they were up 31-13. The offense did look like they were clicking, but then it just kind of fell apart. You know, Boise State made those adjustments at halftime. Hank Bachmeier shook some of that early true freshman rust. And he came out, he converted third downs when they needed him to. He made some big-time plays when they needed him to. Doesn't necessarily reflect in his grade because he was a little lackluster overall, but when they needed him to, he made those plays, and his receivers stepped up and also made some plays too. Doesn't help when you run the ball like they did as well on that FSU defense.
Yeah, those were the couple things. Bachmeier on third down, 8 of 12, big plays down the stretch. And like you said, he salvaged his grade, essentially. Ended up in the mid-60s, a solid grade, but just made the key plays when needed. As a true freshman on the road, first start, doesn't matter how good Florida State is right now. That's a tough environment to play in. And then Robert Mahone running the ball 24 times for 142. Overall, 49 carries for 230 for Boise State. So it was just this control the ball type of offense for Boise. Florida State kept throwing some big plays at them and just didn't have the ball very often. So it was, contrast in styles. But Boise ended up making those plays in the second half.
When you gain over 600 yards of total offense, or when you allow that as a defense, that's really what's going to hurt you, and ultimately that's what did the Seminoles in. The crowd dissipating after halftime also, I'm sure, didn't help. So on the road in Tallahassee with about 30,000 people in the stands is not quite the same as it used to be. But let's move on. Let's stick, again, though, maybe with a team out west, Wyoming upsetting Missouri. How'd they do it? What did we see from Wyoming and how they defeated the Tigers?
Well, with Wyoming, it was the running game again, rushing for over 200 yards, 12 missed tackles for Missouri. And, the big question mark for Missouri was going to be what their defense was going to be able to do this year. And then Kelly Bryant, offensively, was he actually going to be an upgrade over Drew Lock? I think it was a little optimistic to think he was an upgrade over where Drew Lock had played, the level that he played at last year. So Missouri, big question marks on the defensive side of the ball where they could not stop the run and did not tackle all that well.
Kelly Bryant will be fun. We'll have some moments for him, but that defense, if they can't stop anybody, obviously that's where they're gonna struggle. I mean, they allowed Sean Chambers to run for a 71-yard touchdown that saw him just literally stiff-arm their linebacker to the ground. That can't happen in the SEC if they want to compete against any of those teams. Keep it rolling, though. I think
Let's go the SEC, right? The SEC was upset again multiple times. So how about Ole Miss losing to Memphis? I was really impressed with that Memphis defense. I'm just looking at their grades right now. 11 guys grading at 70+. Guys who had at least 10 snaps on that Memphis defense. Quindell Johnson, the safety. O'Brien Goodson, the defensive tackle. Jacoby Francis, the corner. All of these guys having big games. And, it was a bunch of guys playing 25, 35, 45 snaps, all contributing on that Memphis defense, making Ole Miss's offense look pretty bad.
And it honestly seemed like they kept getting pressure one after the other, whether that was on Matt Corral or not. He did allow some of the pressures himself, holding onto the ball, making a few boneheaded decisions. But Bryce Huff coming up with the safety late that pushed the lead to 15-10, which is ultimately where it ended. That's really what was the deciding factor. I think that defensive line, the Memphis defense overall, but the defensive line really pushed the pocket and pushed their entire offensive line around that Ole Miss needs to shore up there as well.
SEC again?
Another SEC team. Arkansas also was on upset alert against Portland State, but a team that did lose, it's Tennessee. Georgia State came in. I don't think Tennessee was ready for Georgia State.
No, I don't think they were. Georgia State was just solid overall. You look at the way they spread the ball with a few of their receivers, but then, again, the ground game was not, it was kind of like Boise's. It was not dominant, but they moved the ball pretty consistently, had that big run at the end to kind of seal the deal. It's one of those games where it's upset alert, and then you just assume that the talented team will make the stop. And at the end, it's like, well, Tennessee survived, right? But instead of surviving, they give up the big run at the end where they're just running into each other, and Georgia State pulls the upset.
The infamous picture that's now viral with both Tennessee defenders lying on the ground watching Dan Ellington score. That can't happen as well. Overall, a pretty rough weekend, a pretty rough start for the SEC, save for the top. We'll avoid the strength of the conference talk here. For more on all of this and all of our Team of the week as well, coming out this weekend from an incredible slate of action in week 1 of the college football season. Check out pff.com and subscribe right below.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.